Hi everybody, this is Dr. Daulton from Hammond Chiropractic, and today I want to do a video that's slightly different than what you're used to hearing me speak about. Most of the time I'm talking about chiropractic and the benefits of chiropractic because it's what I know and it's what I do, right? It's very rare that you're going to hear me speak about a nutritional supplement or a health food or anything of that nature, and it's not that I don't believe in those things or that I don't utilize them in my own daily life. However, I just feel that a lot of times there's another person out there who's much better qualified to speak to you on these topics. But today I am going to be handling one of those topics because of something that I've recently discovered myself and have been using. And you'll notice that if I find something that really works well for me, I'm probably going to share it with you. For example, a few months ago I had made a video about oregano, and I was telling you that that's my secret of how I almost never get sick, right? It's a great video and it's a great product, but I don't sell these things in my office. So I want you to know up front that as I discuss this with you, I don't make any money from talking to you about these things. There's no company that's going to be paying me to give this testimonial or to teach you about this stuff. It's just something that I personally believe in and that I utilize and that I see benefit from. So oregano was the one thing I talked about before. Now today we're going to talk about bone broth. And in the world of natural health care, certain things become trendy, and you never know if it's decent or if it's something that you should be using or not. For example, one of the big things is CBD oil currently, but bone broth is another thing just like that, right? And I didn't know what bone broth was. It was something that I had never even heard about until a few months ago when my massage therapist in my office, she was going to start making it and using it for herself. And so basically, let me explain what bone broth is, and then I'm going to let you know what kind of led me to what I'm about to share with you here, okay? So what bone broth is they take bones from either a cow or a chicken or sometimes fish, okay? And it also, they usually include the joints too that go along with those bones. And then you put the bones into a pot, you put it in with some water, some fruits and vegetables, some spices, things like that. Not fruits, probably not fruits, but some vegetables, spices, things like that. And then you simmer the broth for at least 10 hours. Now, the reason you're doing that is because you want to break down the bone and you're trying to get all the good things out of the bone. So collagen is the big thing that comes out of the bone, but also there's a lot of minerals, there's a lot of amino acids that come out of there. Different things like that is what you're trying to accomplish. And you want to get that into the broth, and then what you do is you drink the broth in order to get all of those things into your body. And I'll explain why that's a good thing in just a little bit. But before I go into that, I first want to tell you the story of what led me up to starting to use this in my daily life and what I'm actually doing with it. About 4 years ago, I had developed a really nasty stomach virus. I have no idea where it came from. Of course, I suspect it was something that I ate. But at the time, it was the sickest I have ever been in my entire life. And the weirdest thing is, I tell you guys all the time, I hardly ever get sick. I mean, really, truly, since that time 4 years ago, I haven't had a major illness in my life that, or at least nothing that would have kept me down. Maybe a little bit of a cold, but nothing, really serious. Although I know for a lot of men, that's like having cancer, right? Right, ladies? But I have this stomach virus. It took 6 weeks to get out of my system. And at the time, there was nothing the doctors could do about it. There was no treatment for it. And I literally could not keep food down. I didn't eat for 6 weeks, basically. And I lost something like 40 pounds. I mean, it was some ridiculous number in that 6 week time frame. But what happened was that after I did recover from that virus, my digestion was never the same again. And it was the weirdest thing because I developed all of these food allergies that I had never had before. And I actually ended up having to get a blood test because it got that bad. It was I just couldn't eat anything without getting sick, basically. And what they discovered was there were a lot of things that I was allergic to that was in my daily diet. So one of the biggest ones was whey. Well, I like to work out. I go to the gym all the time. And so at the time I was doing a protein shake after each workout. And I didn't know why, but I would always feel sick afterwards. So whey protein I had to eliminate. And I tried all kinds of other protein powders, like the vegetable proteins and whatnot. Couldn't keep them down. My body just reacted the same way, whether there was whey in it or not. So I have had to completely eliminate those from my diet completely. Other things like pineapple, peppers, all kinds of normal things that I would normally eat on a daily basis, I was not able to have anymore. And so it completely changed my body. And I tried everything to try to get this under control. I'm telling you, I went through the probiotics, I tried a prebiotic, I tried all kinds of supplements thinking that maybe it had done damage to the lining of my gut. So I thought I'll try something to try to fix that. None of it worked. In fact, all of it would make me sicker, so I'd have to stop taking all of it. So I was hearing about this bone broth from my massage therapist, and then all of a sudden I get this email from, it's a doctor that I actually follow, and he was talking about it, and he was talking about this company called Kettle and Fire. And so I thought, oh, I'll look into this because I don't know anything about it. And it was fascinating to me. And with the bone broth, what happens is that when you absorb those nutrients, the first thing that they tell you is that it's supposed to help heal the gut. So if you have any type of digestive problems, it's supposed to help you with that. So that was what I was interested in. I was interested in just trying to get my digestion back to normal. All right. And like I said, this is 4 years later. I've had those problems all along. It never changed. I've always been, since that time, very sensitive to foods, and I just kind of expect that I'm not going to feel good typically when I eat. And it doesn't matter if I'm eating a salad or if I'm eating a cheeseburger. My body just did not feel well. Okay, so that was the first thing that interested me in this bone broth, was the fact that it could help with your digestion. The second thing is that it's supposed to be really good for the joints. So if you have arthritis, it's supposed to help you with that. It also helps improve bone strength, and they say it's really good for your teeth as well, to keep your teeth nice and strong, but also all the bones in the body do well with this. And the other thing it's supposed to really help you with is your skin, because the collagen in the bone broth that you drink, your skin is mostly made of that. And so if you kind of replenish that, your skin looks a lot better and it's a lot healthier for you. So these are all the benefits of taking the bone broth. Now, this company, though, Kettle and Fire, the reason I like them is because before this, if you had tried to buy bone broth online and have it shipped to you by a company that actually made it, rather than you having to sit there and simmer that stuff for over 10 hours, it would have to be frozen. And so because it was frozen, the shipping of it is astronomical. It was very expensive to have that done, so most people wouldn't do it that way. They would try to make it themselves. Well, this company, Kettle and Fire, they've somehow found a way to package it so that it doesn't have to be frozen. So the shipping is actually free, if I'm not mistaken. But if you do have to pay shipping, it's very inexpensive. So it's actually more reasonable to do it. So the packaging makes it to where it doesn't have to be frozen. And what makes them different is that they're very selective about the beef and the chicken bones that they use. They only use bones that come from farms that raise these animals without any extra antibiotics or hormones, all right? And that's really important, because if you have a cow or a chicken that's getting injected with these things, whether it be a hormone or an antibiotic, that stuff is going to get into the bone broth as well, and you don't want that. And actually, this is one of the biggest issues. A lot of times you'll hear about antibiotic resistance happening right now, and it's for that reason the doctors, they limit how much they can give you as far as the antibiotics are concerned. You don't want to be on them all the time. And the reason is because when we take antibiotics, or when we use antibacterial soaps or different things like that, the bacteria actually adapt. So all the things that you're trying to fight off with these things, they adapt and they become immune to the antibiotics or to the soaps or to whatever it is that you're using to try to keep yourself from getting infected by these things, right? Well, a lot of that also comes from the meats that you eat. Because remember, if you're eating steak or if you're eating chicken, and if they've been injected with antibiotics or if they've been injected with hormones to make them larger so that the meat is larger appearing to you and you get more for your money, right? Well, those things are actually being digested by you. And it's a big issue because your body then has all these bacteria and things that are building resistance to antibiotics. So if you ever get sick and you actually need an antibiotic, the chances of you being able to fight off that infection with the antibiotic becomes much smaller, because you've been eating the stuff all along, and then all these things are changing inside of you and they resist it. They don't respond the same way, all right? So you got to be careful where you get these bones from, and you want to make sure that it's from a source where you know for sure that none of these other chemicals are being put into the animal that you're getting the bone from, okay? And then what they do with it is, once they get the high quality bone, they simmer it for 20 hours or more. So the more that you simmer the bone broth, the more nutrients you get out of the bone. That's the way it works. So they go at least 20 hours with their product. And because of the way that they package it, not only does it not have to be frozen when it's shipped to you, but it has a shelf life of 2 years, which is pretty impressive. And I have a bottle of it here. They make it in beef and in chicken. I like the chicken. And people ask me, how does it taste? It just tastes like chicken noodle soup. It's not bad at all. And that's pretty much the thing. I tried both the beef and the chicken when I first bought it, just so I can kind of compare and see which one I like better. The chicken is the winner for me. I like the chicken one, so that's what I drink. And you just drink a cup a day. That's all you really have to do. Now, some of you may be wondering about the price of it. I calculated if I drink a cup a day, it's going to cost me around $100 a month. All right. Now, if you can't afford to do that, I completely understand. Take it every other day or take it 2-3 times a week, whatever you can do, because here's what's happened. I started drinking this stuff, okay, and within a week's time, my digestive symptoms were basically gone. I was in shock because I'm telling you, there were some things I could count on. I could count on having heartburn after every single meal. I could count on my bathroom habits being not predictable. All of that completely changed. And I didn't even realize it at first until I ate a meal and I was expecting within a half hour I remember thinking in my head, I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to get heartburn now after eating this. The heartburn never came. And I thought, what in the world? And so I thought it was a fluke at first, right? But ever since then, I've not had a single problem, and I keep taking it every single day. So it's definitely made a huge difference, and it's made a difference fast. But like I said, if this is something that you're interested in, if you have arthritis or if you are interested in having healthier skin, that's one thing that we have to be concerned about when we get older. If you've not thought about this, the skin will actually thin as we get older, and so you become more prone to tearing the skin. And if that happens, it's easier for your body to get infected with something. So you want to make sure that you keep your skin nice and healthy as much as possible. This is something that you can take to do that, all right? What I'm going to do here is on the video, I'm going to put up the website for Kettle and Fire so that you can go check them out if you want to, and you can read more about the story. The other thing is they sent me an email where I can share a link with you, and it gives you 20% off your first order if you spend $40 or more. So what I'll do is on my website, if you go in the video section and you see this video, I'll put the link right next to the video, and you can click on that so you can get your 20% off if you want it, okay? All right, guys, thanks for listening to this with me. I hope you found that helpful and useful, and I'll talk to you soon.